Bear Down Bears fans, per Jeremy Fowler, if the Chicago Bears were to use the #1 overall pick, they would take Caleb Williams or another quarterback. We'll talk about all that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So, as I said, Jeremy Fowler was talking on SportsCenter ahead of today's playoff games. Get in tune with those. And I mean, listen, he basically said that the Bears are in the beginning stages of assessing what they would like to do in the draft. They haven't gone or they're going into the process of basically going in depth and breaking down what they would do with the #1 overall pick, all of that, right? But I thought something that was interesting that he said was, if the Bears do utilize that #1 pick, they would utilize it on either Caleb Williams or other quarterbacks in the draft. That or other is very important there, but he did say that a lot of people around the organization do believe that he would land on Caleb Williams, that the Bears would land on Caleb Williams after doing their evaluation, because he is still believed to be the #1 quarterback prospect coming out of this draft. And I think that makes a lot of sense. If the Bears were going to use the pick, right, why wouldn't you use it on the quarterback position? I don't think that just going and getting Marvin Harrison Jr. would be enough. I think that would be an organization shifting move if you utilize the pick or on a wide receiver. And listen, you might still get a great talent, but I don't know if it would be a shift in the right way. Now, y'all know me here. I want Justin Fields to be here. I believe that Justin Fields can get the job done. And apparently the Bears still have some of that belief as well. Jeremy Fowler also talked about the fact that Justin Fields' play down the end of the season, or down that last stretch of the season, made things incredibly difficult on the Bears coming into this, made this decision very difficult, especially with how he galvanized the locker room, all of those things that go into, being a leader of the team and a quarterback of the team. And I think that's something that you do have to assess as well. Now, I don't know Caleb Williams personally. I know that I have some questions on his leadership skills, but I also know that it's because of the adults in the room for me, right? When I look at Lincoln Riley, allowing him to basically not go out and do press conferences, allowing him to not have locker room scrums around him, allowing him to basically be insulated, I think that he set Caleb Williams up poorly, possibly as a leader. And we've seen this before from Lincoln Riley quarterbacks, right? The question marks that are on Kyler Murray, the question marks that we've seen over in Arizona around him being focused on the game, studying the game, being a good teammate, all of those things, right? I see a lot of those similar things in Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams, a lot taller than Kyler Murray and can get the football out a little bit better than Kyler Murray can. I think that there's a lot of good to be seen with Caleb Williams as well. But the biggest question for me is leadership skills. Of course, I do believe he does a lot of things similar to Justin Fields as well on top of that. But it's the leadership skill. Is he going to come into this locker room and make guys better, or is he going to come into this locker room and make things worse? Either way, he's going to be an interesting prospect. And it's very interesting to me that the Chicago Bears would go quarterback with that #1 overall pick. I think the fact that we know that means that it's pretty much Justin or the pick, right? It's not going to be one or the other. You're not going to see the Bears do some move where they hold on to the pick and take a different player #1 overall. Remember, we had heard that, like last year with the #1 overall pick, right? Do you take Jalen Carter #1? Do you take Bryce Young #1, right? Like, it's not going to be that situation. So at least we have clarity on that. We're looking at pretty much what I believe is probably a 2-horse race here, unless a quarterback absolutely blows the Bears away, and Caleb Williams and or in Justin Fields. So I think that this is going to be an interesting offseason. This is going to be interesting continuing down. It's good to hear that Justin Fields at least made the decision difficult, because now that means one way or the other, the draft capital is going in the right direction. Again, I'd love to have Justin here, but we'll see what the Chicago Bears would like to do. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. I think the number one thing for me now, and the one thing that the Bears have to figure out, even with all the draft processing stuff going on, is, okay, listen, we're trying to get this sorted out. We're trying to figure out who's going to be the next quarterback of this team. Let's start it off with who's going to be the next OC of this team. The Chicago Bears still looking in some of the right directions to me with OC candidates. They're expanding their search. We've got 2 more names added to the list now, on top of Shane Waldron and Clint Kubiak. And Kid is all in. By the way, if you guys were wondering, Kid is all in on Clint Kubiak. I said, why do you want Clint over anybody else? And he was like, come on now, Kirk Cousins, baby. You already know what it is. But it's very interesting. And what I like about it is the fact that the Bears, they're putting together a list of guys that I believe, no matter what, no matter who the next quarterback is, no matter who the next person that's going to be in place is going to actually be able to come in here and develop the quarterback. I mean, Clint Kubiak, like I talked about in a previous video, right, is a guy to me that is, not to say that he's developed quarterbacks, but he's put quarterbacks in positions where you can feel confident about them continuing to move forward, where you can feel confident about how they're playing their game, right? Again, same thing with, why am I blanking on everyone's name right now? I'm sorry. Same thing with Greg Olsen, who has now been added to the list as well. I think that there's a lot of quarterback play that in this league is just about putting guys in the position that they need to be in and believing in this new style of quarterback. I've said this a couple of times here, where I think that a lot of times we try to pigeonhole quarterbacks into the old pocket passer style. I think a lot of times we try to pigeonhole quarterbacks into what they were before, right? I don't see that with Shane Waldron. I don't see that with Clint Kubiak. These are guys that are able to adjust their games. These are guys that are able to say, okay, this is a very different quarterback here. We need to come up with a completely different passing game for him here. This is a very different quarterback here. We need to come up with a completely different passing game for him here. I think that's what the Chicago Bears need, because no matter what, there's a new style of quarterback that is coming to the NFL, and teams just need to embrace it, and offensive coordinators need to embrace it, and you need to find those guys that have embraced it, not those guys that are trying to fit square pegs into round holes. I think when you look at Shane Waldron, you see the same thing with how he's adapted his game with Geno Smith. The thing I love about Shane Waldron is the play design, but again, right, expanding that search, adding names to this list that I believe are putting you in the right direction, moving you forward, and not just sitting here having the same old conversations. I mean, like, how many times are we going to sit there and talk about, oh, well, he's dropping them straight back and there's pressure up the middle? Right, that's all we talked about with Luke Getz. He's dropping Justin Fields straight back. There's pressure coming on the right side. There's pressure coming on the left side. He's got a 5-step drop. He's got routes that are taking, 10 to 15 yards. And maybe he needs to improve on the anticipatory throws. Maybe he needs to improve on getting the football downfield. But again, we're having these same conversations on excuse me, the offensive play caller, putting players in a poor position. I look at, right, to me, the underutilization of Darnell Mooney and how he basically has just disappeared from this offense. Like, that to me is one where you have to look and go, okay, guys, maybe we need to incorporate him more than we do Tyler Scott. Maybe we need to put him in positions to succeed more than we do Tyler Scott. So I like the name Greg Olsen. That's why I like the name Liam Cole, Shane Waldron, and of course, Clint Kubiak. We know the history and the family that comes with that as well. So you're starting in the right places with your OC search, and that's the one thing that I love the most about what this Bears team is putting together. But I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well, no matter what the Chicago Bears do at the quarterback position. Who do you want to see the Bears go get as OC? I do think it speaks volumes that we have not heard about Greg Roman yet, seeing as how he doesn't have a job and the Bears basically haven't, I don't know if they have or haven't reached out to him, or he just hasn't accepted, but maybe that says a lot about Greg Roman's name being put on this list. But let me know how you guys feel. Like I said, as always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. To continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Major Bear Don. Peace.